Do you and your partner want to learn simple ways to grow closer?
Do you and your partner want to grow happier together?
Do you and your partner want to be a unified front?
Do you and your partner want to divorce-proof your marriage?
If you answer yes to these questions, you need to check out our book, Unlocking Forever, 10 Keys to a Successful Marriage Beyond I Do.
Each section focuses on a different aspect of marriage and briefly describes how we handled it in our relationship. At the end of the section, you're given an action step or key to complete with your partner.
These keys are practical steps you can immediately implement in your relationship and help you and your partner be proactive and intentional about your relationship.
You can purchase your copy on Amazon.com.
And until next time, we will holler at y'all. After over 25 years of marriage, we've learned that successful couples have great friendships, put each other first, and focus on light just as much as love. We believe marriage should be fun and easy.
Our goal is to share our journey with the hopes of helping others build strong, happy relationships. Join us as we continue to create our lives beyond I do.
Thanks for joining us again on the Beyond I Do podcast. Today we have two special guests by the name of Scott and Robin Muhammad. They come to us with the wonderful story, 29-year long-distance connection. And they're going to talk about how this came about. And they're also newlyweds after 29 years, so... They're here to share their story. So welcome, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. So who wants to start? If you would tell us a little bit about who you are and a little bit about how you met and take us through this story. We have had a sneak peek, so we're excited to share your story.
Yeah, thank you. So you want to start who you are? And I'll just say a little bit about who I am. Where are you, babe?
Well, my name is Scott. This is my wife, Robin. And we met when we were young. I was 20, 22. She was 19.
Yeah.
I just moved to Las Vegas for internship.
Okay.
And she was one of my neighbors. She was a student. I was a student. And when we met, it was instant attraction, connection, as far as we were just friends.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a physical attraction at first.
Right.
It was a mental connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there for just a few weeks before I left. I went back to Maryland, and we kept in touch. And in those days, the phone numbers and...
Right.
Yeah.
Actual phone calls.
Yep.
Yeah. We tell the story differently, of course. So yeah, we do tell the story differently, but...
And I found in her somebody who was mentally stimulating, intellectually stimulating, great energy, instant friends.
Yeah.
And we kept in touch.
So I'm going to chime in on that. Say this part. So it is true. We met in Nevada, Las Vegas. We were both in college. I always say we met in college, but he was from Maryland. I lived in Las Vegas at the time. And I remember opening the window and he was getting out of a car with a full suit on and a bow tie. And it was like 1,000 degrees in Las Vegas. I was like, what is going on here? Why? Why? And I just remember, like, for a minute, like the world stopped. Everything was just quiet, but I saw him. Okay, what is going on? Who do I see? And why do it's kind of like an instant attraction? And then why is he have on this suit? And we were young, so that time all the college students were drinking and just doing college student things. And I remember we were all outside. He still had on full clothes, no shorts, and he was drinking milk. Everybody else they're drinking. And I didn't drink. He didn't drink. And I just was intrigued by, like, who is this guy who at that time as a college student, like, why do you have this confidence to, like, be different?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, what is really going on? And that is how our connection started. And I would say we had that connection, but and I'll say this because I said it before when we were talking, I'm gonna box you in and say you're religious when I say that. So we were college students, and I'm the talkative one out of the two of us, kind of, seemingly. But he's religious, and I was not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so when he told me that he was Muslim, then and there I was like, But whatever my mind came to my mind, and I just remember him saying that he didn't eat pork.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, because 4th of July, my hot wings, I was just like, all this stuff in my mind. I'm like, you don't eat pork, we got to be friends. Like, I like you, but that's not lie. You drinking milk, you don't eat pork.
Hey, what we see as confidence now, back then was like, he's just weird.
Yeah.
But now we understand.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's confidence. You know?
Yeah. And the other thing, so this was the other thing about him that was just like, it was just things that I just remember. He liked Prince. And at that time, Prince was a little bit on the wild side, in my opinion.
Yes.
So that's what he was.
So he likes Prince, but you don't eat pork and you drinking milk. You got on the suit.
So like, yes, I was like, I'm so confused. Like, what's really going on? But we just had this instant bond, and Scott said it correctly. It wasn't sexual in nature. It was very we just spent hours and hours just talking. Mm-hmm. And I had never experienced that before. I was young, I was 19, and normally it's like that age is about physical attraction.
Right.
And we just had a bond. And he went back to Maryland, and I stayed in California, Nevada. And we did write letters. We talked on the phone when we could. I would go out and see him. And I always felt he was very mature and very serious. He was the type of a guy that wanted to be married. He wasn't out chasing women. And I wasn't used to that kind of a person. I only knew men that chased women. And unfortunately, that's the kind of a guy that I was accustomed to. And so Scott not being that person, I just didn't know what to do with him. And I actually didn't think that was even possible. Like, somewhere in my mind, I thought, okay, he's tricking me. Like, later on, he's going to, yes. We just stayed in the friend zone, even though we had this bond and this attraction. And fast forward, he met someone, and they got married. Eventually, they got married, and we were such good friends that they invited me to be in their wedding, and I was in their wedding. Remembering, go ahead, you were saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remembered you mentioning that.
Yeah.
So that's a level of maturity that's just beautiful.
Yep.
But it didn't feel odd. It was just because you were friends. Like, and I say that, but honestly, I guess when we were friends and we were strictly friends, I could see that happening, but I could also see what happened with you two happening also. So
I really felt like always Scott was amazing, but I also felt like he was at a different level from me, and that I wasn't right for him at that time, just who I was as a person and who he was. I figured best you be with somebody else, because I'm not ready for that level of maturity. And he was just more focused and stable in what he wanted. And I wanted to be 19 and I would say be out in the streets. Like I just wanted to.
Right.
And so when he did get married, I was in his wedding, but I remember this, the then wife, she was saying her vows. And I remember her saying like, you know, he's her soulmate. And I just remember thinking in my mind, I was like, no.
I'm old.
So, but did you think that, and I completely can relate to that sense of I'm not worthy. Like he deserves someone better.
Yeah.
Did you feel that she fit the bill for that?
No.
Okay.
So I'm going to say this. No. Can I say that?
I feel the same. Like I feel the same way about him. I have in my head thought of people that the two of us know, and I'm like, oh, they would be much better together. But then in the same thought, I'll pick apart that person and go, no, but she doesn't realize that he likes this or he likes that. And so I understand thinking that he deserves better, but also feeling like, nope, he's made for me.
I just knew he wasn't made for the other person. I didn't believe that. It just not because she's a wonderful person, so nothing could get for it all. It's just that his mind is just very different in how he thinks. He's super, super intelligent. And I'll say, because he's not going to say, no, he's not super intelligent, but he has a science background. He's so well-read, so very, very intelligent. And that I didn't feel like that person was in that level of that would engage him forever. But I was like, okay, go get married.
Right.
I'm not going to you out, don't think. And they did get married. And then it didn't work out. And then, at that point, life just started to happen.
Right.
He had his life, and then I'm on the other side of the country living my life. And I would come and visit. And when I would come and visit, we were just amazing friends.
Mm-hmm.
It just got to the point.
What she was saying reminded me that when I did get married, it's kind of like I kind of sort of gave up on finding somebody like me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was married for a year. And in that, I kind of knew that she wasn't the one at the beginning. But like I said, she was a wonderful woman. Mm-hmm. Just, just not compatible.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful, sweet, the whole thing. But everybody needs stimulation of mental and spiritual, emotional.
Right.
And it's very hard. It was hard for me to find. And in all the years, the person who had always been there for me mentally and emotionally was her.
Right.
Through the whole marriage and up and downs in life, her relationships, and whenever we needed somebody,
right.
I do want to say this because I said he's very intelligent, and so he speaks with. He likes words, and so it's like sometimes he would say words on our friendship. Oh my gosh, I need like a dictionary to like talk to him. Like I need a thesaurus, a dictionary. Like I need some help. So I would listen to the context. This is word. What does this word mean? And then he would quote the Bible. And I'm just like, oh my gosh! Like for the beginning of our friendship, I was like, I don't want him to know that I don't know what he's taught. Like I don't know. So I felt that's what
I got it.
No, no. But eventually, as time went on, because this is over 29 years, so we're 52 and 49, that as I was evolving and growing, and as I began to become, then our lives were not so far away. Like I stopped eating pork 20 years ago. I changed so many things, and then our lives just started to come closer and closer together. Mm-hmm. But when that happened, when we realized that, okay, there's really something going on here because so many years have passed. You were divorced and I was in a situation.
Right.
And it took another 13 years, well, that's 8 years, like a long time. So it was him being married and then having children and then me having my life out there and me realizing that he's somebody that I really, really connect with. I was just deep into a relationship with somebody else. And that's difficult because there was a child involved. You can't just,
Yeah.
and we're right. We live on 2 different coasts. Say, yeah. So it wasn't like I could just pull my child out of school and move to Maryland. And then he had young children as well. So we were just like, we just thought it's just never gonna happen. And I would remember just the feeling of every time I would talk to him, there was this adrenaline that just ran through my body. And I would get off the phone with him sometimes. I would just cry. So I'm like, I'm with somebody that I know is not my person. And the person I just have such heart and love for is 3,000 miles away. And there's no pathway to get to him. And then he met somebody else. He met somebody else. Yeah. It wasn't my direction. This is when I realized that my love for him was so pure because I at that point I knew I loved him, but I was with somebody else. Yeah. And I just said I just wanted him to be happy, and he did meet someone else, and I could hear the joy in his happy. He was happy.
At that point, I was a single parent.
Right.
I had 2 children, son and a daughter. And this was the second wife.
I tried to like just blend all the wives together.
So single dad. Resolved to just raise them and just that'd be it.
But you wanted to be married. Like you said, when y'all met in the beginning, like that's something that you knew you wanted to be married. And
yeah.
So,
but I was going to just raise them before I even thought about dating like that.
Yeah. And I never wanted to be married. So he always, when he was a young child, he always wanted to be married. I never wanted to be married. So even when we were together and we talked about getting married, I would get stomach aches. I would come up with all kinds of reasons. And it was very difficult for me because of just baggage that I had. Scott has always been my anchor where he's the voice of reason. And we do well together because of that. Our personalities, I think if you look at us right here, we seem, because he's great. He's that subdued, quiet, seemingly.
He's saying seemingly when she
does. because I, it's I feel like it's true because I'm looking at him right now and he's very mellow. Always I say seemingly because we have.
I would say when it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Right.
But I always feel like. Yeah. But he has this amazing smile, and we have such fun together. And if you just see us, you seem like I seem like I'm the talkative one, the wild one. But that's why I said seemingly because it's just I don't know, and it's just us, it's just different. But nonetheless, going back to finally, so all these years passed. I knew he was for me. He found somebody else. I could hear the joy in his voice by having met somebody else.
And did you tell him, I'm so happy, congratulations?
I wanted him to have a companion, truly. I wanted him to have a companion. And since it did not seem like it was going to be me yet again, I just said, just be happy. And he was happy sounding. So I was happy for him. That's when I knew, I really just love him just as a person, as a friend. I just want his joy. And so that was that. And then there was, another 5 years, 8 years, or some more years went past. And my mom, my grandmother passed away, my dad passed away. And I just realized that, whoa, like people die. And if you don't live, like your life could just go and you didn't get a chance to experience, in my case, true love. And I say it went like this, but chime in if you feel like it was different. But I feel like I called Scott, not even knowing I didn't know that you would broken up. I don't think, I'm not sure. But the other relationship I had didn't last. But I called him and I just like, I just need, please come to wherever I am. And I want to be with you or something. I don't know what the words were, but that was like, we just got to figure this out. I'm still in California. I'm still in Maryland at a conference in Phoenix. And I hadn't seen him in 8 years. And I'm just like, I just come to where I am. I need you. And when my father passed away, Scott was that. He was just like, I wasn't calling the person that I was actually supposed to be with. I wasn't talking to them. They weren't the ones comforting me. It was Scott. And I thought, okay, there is just this level of comfort, this bond that we built over all these years. And that was just that. And like, when I tell you that was that, like I told my child's father, like, I am done here. I'm so sorry. I am done here. And of course he wasn't like, oh yeah, go live your life. He was like, no, you're not. Like it was a struggle. He wasn't happy about it. And he wouldn't be. I mean, you just, breaking up with anybody is just not comfortable. And I had a whole life there, like a whole life there. And I walked away from that life for love. I would say that, like, just after all those years, I was just like, what else is the point? Like, if I don't have the person that I'm just the best with, I could cry.
And when you're with someone who doesn't feed you,
Yeah.
Right.
that's the sign that they're not the one.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you're with people who feed you,
Right.
emotionally, mentally, spiritually,
Yeah.
that's where you belong.
Yeah. I always just felt like it was just this amazing draw. So we met up in Phoenix at a conference and we were just like, I didn't see him for 8 years. And we were just like, we never were apart. I thought it was just like I know you, you know me. And then we were together since, so it was like 6 years, almost 6 years before we actually got married, because my daughter was she was like 12. And so when I first knew, my daughter was 5. So our children were like 3 or 4 and 6, 4, 5, and 6. And then she was still 12, right in the middle of middle school, all of those things. So what touched my heart, because I told him, like, I'm not going to be able to move to Maryland, be anywhere near you. Like, you're going to have to do this long distance. And you said, okay. Or we just decided to do long distance, 3,000 miles away for almost 6 years.
Well, I didn't mind that because, like I said, even at beginning when I first I had divorced, I got custody of the children. It was my plan to be single until they were grown.
Right.
Now I'm in a relationship, and I'm still able to raise the children the way I planned.
Right.
That worked out for me.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Within that time frame, how often did you see each other? Like, were there regular visits or?
Yeah.
Like every 6 months.
3 months.
3 months.
And so there was a pandemic that happened 3 years into that. So even prior to the pandemic, there was a TSA shutdown, all these different obstacles. But we would see each other every 3 months. But then there was, the pandemic came up, but pretty regularly. And so for Scott, because he had his 2 children, that he needed to be more here in Maryland. And I had a little bit more flexibility. So I would come out to Maryland more. We made it. Sometimes I think about it now because we're together every day. I'm like, I don't know how. If I would have been with him every day and then then was like long distance. I don't know how I made it, but we always were long distance. So it was just, we were used to that. But, and this is my thoughts about actually being together every day, because it's like when you're long distance with somebody, whenever you see them, it's euphoric.
Right.
You got them every day. So then the question is like, okay, when I see you every day, like,
Yeah.
Really thin, and you're thinking, I need to go out to California.
but yeah. And so for me, I would say black girl baggage. So I grew up in I don't even call it a dysfunctional home. It was just sometimes how Black families are, unfortunately, fractured. And there was violence, and I didn't see a lot of Black men. I didn't see any Black men that were honorable, which is just terrible. And so with Scott, he was all of those things, which it took me a long time to believe. And he was always good to me, always consistent. And I just really struggled with, are you really this good to me? Like, really? And so I would look for everything I could possibly look for to discredit who he showed up to be. I mean, I would just look for anything. And he was always so honest, and I would never find anything. And there was this one time where I just really made up something. Like, there was something on the piece of paper, and I just like made it to fit whatever like scenario I had in my mind. Like, the birthday card. Because I don't want to tell the whole birthday card. Should I tell it? Can I tell a story?
I mean, you've gotten this far.
Yeah.
If you don't want to just like tell all these stories that are, because I have to use a name. It's okay. Okay. So he had a relationship with a person named Nana, Nana. And he had and so there was a birthday, his daughter's birthday came, and Nana came over and gave a birthday cake, which was fine. And he said that she came over on Monday. So, but on Wednesday, there was this birthday card that said her name on it. So I was thinking, okay, you lied to me. Like, you said she was at the house. It's kind of ridiculous, but you said she was at the house on Monday, but now you're lying to me. She was there on Wednesday, because how did her name get on this birthday card on Wednesday? Because he made the card on Wednesday and her name was on the card. And so I'm like, first of all, why did you lie? Why is her name on the card? Like, you're not with I was like, whole story. And I was just like, I'm breaking up with him. I'm leaving him. Like, I was a red tea to end it. Cause like, it was like, it said mom, Amun Ra, or the son, and then Nan. I was just like, I'm done with you. And as soon as I was about to pick up the phone and call him, like, something came over me. And so, cause the grandmother is Nat. Okay. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is on us. It's Nat. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. And when I tell you, I was like, this is over. You're a liar. You're a cheater. You're horrible. I knew it. And it said Nana. And I was like, oh, wow. That is like, that. Robin, you are crazy. Like, you are, but it could have been.
I knew when you said the name, I knew where it was going. And I knew where it was going because been there, I've done things like this. Making up something. Like you said, coming from an environment where you don't see that, it's like you can't be real. This is not.
You can't be real. You cannot. I mean, like, when I tell you Scott I don't want to call him perfect because it just seems like, I don't know, it's such a heavy word, but when I tell you that he is so good to me, it's just like, it's ridiculous sometimes. It's just so attentive, so tuned in, and just such this amazing man. So I just felt like I need to pick this apart. I need to like come up with it. And so after that, I knew I was like, okay, you crazy because you didn't. And so I told him, because we're such good friends, so I can tell him anything. And I was like, I got to tell you this craziness. And so I told him, and that's what I love about him, because I really can tell you any and everything, even if it's crazy. I was like, let me tell you what I'm about to do. So that kind of just cleared, like, okay, he's wonderful. Then it came to the point where, okay, we're going to get married, because he's always said, that marriage is key. And did I give you a hard time? You think? You said no. I
want to go back really quickly. So when Scotland, she told you about the card incident, what were you thinking?
Who's laugh?
Okay, you've had moments like that, haven't you?
Yeah, you're right.
But the thing is, like, my angle was like, you know me for like decades.
Yeah.
And most people can't fake it that long.
Yeah.
You're going to be what you are. It'll come out. It might be.
Yeah. Well, nobody saw it like that. He's 29 years. I mean.
Look,
yeah, that's true.
We were.
That's so funny.
It hadn't even been a month where we were having a conversation very similar to this. And he looked at me, he said, so for 29 years, I've been acting?
Yeah. Yeah.
So 29 years, and I have stayed in character, and I have been acting.
No.
When he said that, I was like, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah. Because you're right. We can connect. You and I can connect that way because we're just still looking. And it's true. Because I think you said something to me like that. You're like, girl, like, you've known me for how long? And I'm like, oh my gosh, right. And you've never, ever been anything other than who you've been. You've never, like, those are my crazy thoughts. I used to, when we used to go back and forth, I remember this, I would just cry. And then you had said something, I'm like, stop crying or something. And you're just like the crying, it was rough on him. I was like, don't tell me not to cry. But yeah, we did. It was so we did it. We did the 6 years, almost 6 years. And then it was time to get married. And then, yeah, he asked me to be your wife. Like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God. Like, and I just had like such anxiety about, just being, I don't know. I was just like, oh my God. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, oh my gosh, there are people locked in the basement. I mean, I just like, really. Yeah, really.
So did you think you were going to be down there and see?
I know, I just,
wow.
Also because, again, and this, I'm bringing the religion part back because of the misconceptions about Muslim culture. Mm-hmm. So I would have my friends saying like, just like, oh my gosh, you got to be careful, and he gonna, oppress you, and he gonna let you drive. But and then I think I've said that. He was like, again, have I oppressed you? Have I done anything to you this whole time except treat you with like, like a queen? Right. When you marry me, is,
when,
and then like, I wouldn't even let you, like, as a Black girl, because he always did say, he's like, you're not shackled here. Yeah, you're right. So, of course, we got married, and on our wedding day, well, can you tell how? Because I tell it how it came out to me, but me crying my eyes out and just acting crazy. Like, how did that go? Wasn't it?
Like I had the whole big wedding thing. We had a small wedding. That was fine with me. Yeah. She was nervous about getting married at all in the first place. So I want to make sure that she did things her way, And so I was like, okay. So every idea she came up with, okay, that'll work. All thing I needed was, I just need my children and my mom. Mm-hmm. That's my only, and so my only need for the wedding.
Yeah.
And during the ceremony, she started crying, which is normal. Mm-hmm. And then the officiant said, "Oh, you may kiss the bride," and she was still crying. So Instead of kids, I didn't give her a hug. And to let her like just work through this moment, let it sink in.
Yeah.
And after she got herself together, then we did the kiss thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
But patience is important.
I have another story.
When you see somebody who has some needs,
Mm-hmm.
real or imagined, you need to address those needs.
Right. Thank you. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I was okay. I was functioning, and I started therapy and realized that I was going through the motions, basically. The more I worked on me,
Yes.
the more I'm available for him.
Mm.
And like you, Scott, he's been patient and waiting for me to work through.
Yes.
And I can't even imagine going through those things with anyone else. I wasn't a marriage averse, so to speak, but I knew that what I saw growing up, I didn't want. And it's going to take something special to not be that way.
Yeah.
When you have a man that is a man and he knows his confidence, he knows who he is. I told him, being with him, I'm just in alignment. Like, I'm not confused. The way that he guides me, I would say, in such a way that just is exactly 100% what I need, which I know is a blessing and godsend, because I wouldn't be the person that I am now without you. And no one else, I feel like, could handle all of what I would say crazy with such like stability. Like, I'm doing all kinds of stuff, Nana, and like doing all kinds of like, crying at the well, like shaking, like I'm getting run over. Like kiss the bride. I'm like, no. I mean, just like what? And I have a funny story. I think it's funny about our wedding night. And so my daughter, who is now 18, so her and I are really, really close. And so I'm now leaving her to go to college. And so she's having a tough time with the idea of me now getting married and moving. And so that weekend, she was just having a tizzy.
Yeah, she came to all the way for the wedding.
Yes. And just was acting crazy. So on our wedding night, she's like, can I come and stay in the hotel with you? Now she's 18. She was, so she calls. I think this is my favorite story. This is just another crazy story. So she calls us at 1 a.m. So she's with my mom. So yeah, we were at a different hotel, and my mom and her we were at different hotels. And so that day, again, my daughter was like, can I come stay with you guys in the hotel? I'm like, no, like it's our wedding night. So she calls the phone in the hotel at like 1 a.m, crying, acting just like, so just like, what do you, like hysterical. Like, oh my gosh, like what is wrong with you? She's like, there's a spider in the, that's what I heard. So she's like, there's a spider. And I'm like, don't call me about a spider. Like, go call, get your grandmother. She's right there. Like, don't call me about a spider. So I hang up the phone. Oh my God, I can't believe this. So the next day, my mom's giving me like the side eye. And I'm like, why are you looking at me? She's like, why did you do that to her? Like, I was like, why did I do that to her? She called me on my wedding night, telling me about a spider at 1 a.m. That was just crazy. She didn't say spider. She said it was a fire. The hotel was on fire.
Oh, God.
And so, like, can you imagine? My daughter's like, my mom doesn't even care about me anymore. Right.
She got that's the only care about.
Right. Yeah. I was like, don't call me about that. And I hung up on her. She's like, oh my, she was so brokenhearted because there really was a fire. I thought she said spider. I really did. She said spider. So we have all kind of crazy stories. Yeah, that's enough crazy stories for today. But I think that all in all, we've been married now 7 months, 7 months, and we're newlyweds. But a lot of times, obviously, we're friends. We're getting to know each other. We knew each other before, but I love being married to you.
Yeah.
I would say, like, I want another wedding so that I'm like, we got to do it again.
You can actually follow through with the kiss and the crowd.
Like, I shorted you, like, just, I don't know. But I feel like now that I know what being married to you is like I'm like, okay, I can do it. Because I really, really enjoy, and I always tell you this, I really like you, and you know that. Like, and it's different from loving you. Like, you are, like, you're,
That's important.
yeah. Like,
Yeah. That's what we believe.
That's our big thing is that.
Yeah. And so people say, oh, it's the honeymoon, and it'll wear off, and I don't know, maybe it will. But I like you're just like my friend.
Oh.
Yeah, you're like, yeah. I feel like it's like, yeah, like I don't know. If I wasn't with me, like just me, but being with myself, I like being with you. Yeah, that's cute. So,
How it is when you have that connection, it's like, you can distance yourself. Like now we're cool being in the same room. We don't have to necessarily have to be right on top of each other.
Yeah.
So, but people will be like, oh, that bro, it'll get old. And you like, it'll get old for you. Don't take that stuff on me.
It gotten old for us.
You've been married how long?
26 years.
26, and you still like each other.
We adore each other.
Yeah.
We're best friends.
Yeah, I feel like that. I'm just like, it was the other day you were at work. It was like you were at work, and then he calls me from work. And I just thought, that's really sweet. Because sometimes when you're married to somebody, you don't want to talk. When you're gone from them, you're like,
right.
like, let me get a break. And so the fact that he wants to call me, and when I'm gone, I want to call you, or I just want to come home to be with you. And I thought, is it regular? Because I always ask, I'm always like, analyze, is this normal? I guess it is.
There you go. There you go.
That's it, and that's the key right there. What is normal for you guys? Because it's like everybody has their way of doing things. Mm-hmm. Everybody has their way of living, and it's like, well, there's really no normal. It's just
what works.
Normal, what normality you create. Like we still text each other. She's at work. We'll text each other. Hey, how's your day? Have a great day. Love you.
Yeah.
Boy, it just reaffirms everything for you. So
I think that
you're on the right track.
That when I never saw a good relationship, I just didn't imagine or didn't know what this could be. But I just feel like, wow, it's like really authentic. And the fact that it lasted, when I tell you, when I would hear Scott's voice now, years ago, I would always have this just surge of energy in my body, and it doesn't go away. I was just looking at you today, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so enamored by you, just all the time. It just hit. I look at you like, oh my God, you're so.
That's with when we were friends, and our friend groups would get together, we would gravitate towards each other. And there was a safety that I felt with him. I didn't have to pretend to be anything other than myself. I didn't worry about what I said or how it sounded if I said a certain thing. And that still holds true now. I can be myself. He's heard the best, the worst, all the in between, and we're still together. So I look at him and I think, wow, you really after, and that's what tells me, I hadn't been acting for 29 years.
Yeah. I think
31 years.
I think too, and Scott, I'm sure you could probably say yes to this. You knew that day you met her.
Did you know?
I'm about her. You knew that.
I did. And I didn't know I'd marry.
Right.
But I knew this was somebody that I could talk to, somebody I could relate to. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that I'd always needed. some of it, like I said, we pick our relationships based on appearance.
Mm-hmm.
When you're young, especially.
Oh yeah.
But the whole time that we were apart, anytime I wanted to talk to somebody about some of the things that I think about,
Mm.
it would.
Right.
And it felt weird. It's like if you're in a relationship, whether you're married or dating, that you need to call somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk to your girlfriend, your wife.
Yeah.
Right.
Then something's wrong, something's missing there.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And I could always talk to her, and eventually over the years, physical attraction kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she changed, I changed. One day we saw each other, we were like,
Oh, like.
I feel like God took that away from me because seriously, for 16 years, like Scott's always been attractive, beautiful smile, but I did not see him like that. It just was like, I was just so into his conversations, and we just connected on, it was like the physical was just, it just didn't come up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember one day I saw him and I was just like,
put on a few pounds.
is that what it was? Because he used to be so thin, so thin. And I just saw him like, what the heck?
And it filled his power.
He just looks so
yeah. Tone the muscles up a little bit.
yeah. I'm like, he didn't turn into a grown man, like so tiny and young. And then I was like, whoa, what in the heck? So here we are. Yeah, I'm just people always ask me, because like I'm left from California, so I live in a whole nother state. Like I left everything that I've ever known, seemingly everything I've ever known, but it's like Scott has been everything since I was a teenager, just my comfort, my place of comfort. So the fact that I don't live in California is like when I'm with where my heart is happy.
Right. Oh, I love that.
That's beautiful.
I really am. And I tell you that, I'm like, I'm just happy with you.
Matter. Yeah, we can go back to California, back and forth.
Yeah.
Oh.
California's still there.
Yeah, for now.
For now, right.
Hey, the whole world is still there as long as y'all two are together.
Yeah, I feel like that too. And you hear that, like love stories, and they'll say, oh, doesn't matter if we're together, as long as we're together. But it really is. I would say this, and I say this to Scott, because like statistically, half marriages don't work.
Mm-hmm.
And then those half that do work, they don't really like each other.
Right.
And then there's the people, there seems like a small percent that actually really like each other and they connect. And I always, when I was hearing about marriage, people would say that it was just so much work. Because, dang, I don't know if that sounds good. But you explained, babe, about, because I was like work had a negative connotation.
Right.
Right.
But work just means you're putting some effort into something, but it doesn't mean that it's it's bad.
Yeah.
Just drudgery. I mean, it's but let's see that you just have to. This is the thing that, but I don't know if it's it. I feel like it's not common for people to just really connect. Like people can be together.
Mm-hmm.
I've been with other people and you've been with other people, but like where it's just easy.
Right. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just
That's one of the words there should be an ease there.
ease.
And like you said, work for us, I'm thinking negative connotation as well, but
Yeah.
It's effort.
It's just effort. Yeah.
But there should be an ease in that because the end goal is the same.
Yeah.
Even whatever the situation, whatever the outside stuff that's going on, you know that the end goal is that your relationship is intact and you're happy.
Yeah.
And it's
And,
healthy.
and our end goal, or we always say like peace, like we want
Yes.
to be together peacefully, and whatever it is that has to bring us to that, then that's who we are. Someone asked, like, do we argue? Right? Someone asked you, do we argue?
Smash.
Yeah. Do y'all argue?
We have.
Discussion.
Yeah.
We have.
Like I don't think we've ever like been yelling at each other like across the room and throwing things.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
had discussions.
We've
Yeah.
had maybe 5 like heated
Yeah.
argument disagreements.
Okay.
But those that heat has to go out quick for me because I need to know, okay, we're okay. Like, I'm mad at you, but we're okay. Or, we'll get more in depth with resolving this later. But right now, I just need to know we're okay.
And I'm more of a problem solver. I'm, you mad, but these kids still got to go to school tomorrow. Right. But I still need to put these tires on the car.
Right.
I like to go move on, whether we mad or not. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I've just always looked at it as, we have a situation and we have to learn to work through it. And that's what we want to do. But it's like, and she's always used to say, and one of the things she's even said here recently, she was like, you're just a good person.
Yeah.
You can leave me and you can go be just as great for somebody else. And I said, no, that's not true. You're going to do this for the one that you would never do for any other. You're proof, Scott. You're proof.
There's 2 angles to conflict.
Mm-hmm.
There's arguing and disagreeing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And for me, arguing is I make my point, you make your point. I make my point, you make your point. I make my point, you make your point. It goes on and on and on.
Yep.
At a point, you can either see somebody's point, or you can just say, well, I disagree with that.
Right.
Come to terms of the disagreement. But I learned a long time ago, I don't argue. I make my point once, and I'm done.
Yeah. I learned that too, because I think maybe I wanted to belabor a thing, and he was like, I'm done. Like, but, I'm done too then. Well, shoot, let's be friends again.
Decide on trying to understand the other person's point of view. And do you genuinely disagree, or did you just misunderstand?
Right. Yep.
And if you genuinely just disagree, that's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, people arguing to when they argue, when they're having a discussion, they're listening for what they're going to come back with. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's never a resolve. You're not going to resolve anything instead of just listening to hear the person.
Right.
What are you saying? And if the discussion doesn't work, we learn to write letters throughout the years. Write stuff down. Nothing wrong with getting a note in the card. Hey, this is how I felt about this.
I get a little feisty.
Yeah, she'll ask me 9 questions.
She's a woman. That's what we do.
I ain't even learned to fight. I ain't got the first one down. So let me...
I think it's a woman thing. I think it's a woman thing. I learned about when it comes to conflict, I always ask myself, is this really like my problem? Or is this really like, I'll give you this example. I would say, you will maybe say different. We have different relationships with time. Neither bad, neither good. We just behave differently when it comes to time. I am really like, I gotta be early or I'm late. Like, it drives me crazy. And he doesn't feel that way per se. And I remember we were going somewhere and we were 5 minutes late. And it was like, I just felt like I was just like the top of my head was going to blow through the top of the car. Like, I was just like, I can't believe, right? And I was just sitting on the passenger seat thinking, I think this is just my personality. Like, the fact that it's bothering me, it doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean I should then be mad at him. I want it to be, because I'm just like, how could you? In my mind, how could you? But he was just as cool as a cucumber, moving through life, like having no problems. And I was the one bad, and I wanted to just be mad at him. I was thinking, but it doesn't seem mature for me to be mad at him for him being him. And that it doesn't mean that I'm right because the clock said 12:05. And so I decided not to make that a big deal. And then when we got into the place, of course, it was no big deal that we were 5 minutes late. Nobody cared. It was just like no big deal. But I know. But still, in my mind, I was like, I was like, this is in my mind. This is disrespect. We can't, it was just egregious to me. But I think, even for this interview,
for a movie, it doesn't matter.
to me, it don't.
But if you like the court,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it actually good.
And I'm laughing because I'm the same way. It starts when we're getting ready, and he has to have the TV on, and he'll put on a sock and then watch something. And he's gonna put on the other side. And the whole time I'm watching, going, that's why we're gonna be late. We're gonna be late.
Yeah.
We're gonna
too.
hurry up.
Yeah.
Put on a sock.
Yeah. Even getting on this interview, I'm like, hello, like, are you coming? And I was just like, but it's me. Yeah. Like,
Right.
and so if I make it a problem, then it'll be a problem. Then that we turn into this whole thing. And it's really just a personality difference. It's not anything like other than that. And I remember we were having dinner and the charger, the plate thing was uneven. Or do you remember it was spinning? And so if something is broken or not right, he gonna try to fix it, or he wants it fixed. And for me, I'm like, you can fix it later. You don't have to. But he haven't fixed that. And it's like really important to him at that time. And I'm like, get over it. You can do it later, But that's his personality. And so I've just learned, like, oh yeah, we're different. We have different personalities. There's no reason to fight with somebody about who they be. And as long as who they are is not disrespectful to you, I'm like, and that's what I learned. I'm like, and so now it's just different. We have different nuances, and I just learned to respect that because it's you. So I can't spend my whole life being mad at you for being you. That I don't like you then, right? So I'm just like, oh, okay, that's you. The thing that drives me nuts about you the most is you be trying not to put stuff down the garbage disposal. I'm like, ask them. I need to know. Because you tell it. Because
I have an engineering background. That's kind of way I think.
Yeah.
Machines and devices have specific purpose. Like, you can use it how you want to use it, but it has a specific purpose. If you miss it, you're going to break it.
Exactly.
So the garbage disposal is not for all trash or garbage. It's for small items. If large items like bones, if you try to put a bone down there, it's not going to work.
correct. I don't disagree.
If you shave a carrot, that can go down there.
Yeah.
It's soft, it's little.
Same page.
All right. But not everything goes down there.
And I agree with you. See, that's why I said if he tells it, it sounds agreeable. It does.
Mm-hmm.
But like my opinion, any spoon, what is that? Oh, any food items, if there's food scraps, they should go to garbage disposal, not in the trash. It drives me crazy when there's food particles in the trash. That's just me. You could have put that in there. Like the other day, I just was about like, oh my goodness, why did you put that?
About put trash in the trash can.
Yes, I mean,
It's trash can. God dog it.
I was like, what?
Put the trash in the dang trash can. What in the world?
Like,
world
it was like a French fry. It was like a French fry and like some chicken skin or something. I don't know. It was just something, but I feel like it should have went down the garbage disposal. That's my opinion. But those are the things we are like.
What did you say?
Like, I would even.
I could say this from a technical standpoint, because to get when you get to repair one of those things, when you see all that stuff spread up, see that black stuff in there, you're like, my gosh, that's all that stuff combined over the years.
Mm-hmm.
You see what's up, you're gonna be like, okay, well, maybe I need to put everything down there.
And that's actually what he said. He's like, you're going to break it, you have to fix it. Which, this is the thing. If I break it, he'll fix it. I already know that, but I agreed. I was like, okay. But the problem is I am bad because I'm always in trouble, like in a good way, because there's stuff that finds its way down there that really shouldn't be. Like the Brillo pad was in there, and like for towels. But I didn't need
Well,
to.
girl, go to Walmart and get you one of them little mesh covers or something. Put it on.
That's I have there
Yeah.
because I'll have silverware that drops down while I'm
Yeah. And then you grind it. And you're like, ooh.
right. But I'm on his side with this one, huh?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'll put the trash in the trash can, but then anything that's left over when I rinse it, I'll put it in the garbage disposal. But I'm on his side with this.
I tell you, this is several years ago. I was a kid. I was probably 8 or 9. My grandfather used to do all the major plumbing in the house and stuff. He would come check on stuff like that. So I'll never forget. I was cleaning dishes and I poured like half a pot of cabbages down the garbage disposal. Half a pot. I'm talking about just cabbages now. And I had the water running and the thing broke. So now I had to hit my dad's mouth. And he called my granddad over there. And they said, Pop. He used to call everybody Pop. Let me show you something. He said, I stood up there. I was small enough I had to stand on the chair. And he was like, you don't put all them cabbages down there in the sink like that. Clog everything up. It ain't gonna work like that. He said, it ain't gonna work like that. And that's kind of pulled me out of it.
Did you get a spanking?
No, I didn't get a spanking.
Okay.
I got yelled at.
Okay.
But those are the kind of things that and I'm dead serious about how I feel about that. Like I don't care what y'all think. Like it's crazy. But yeah. It's anything else?
To take her to Home Depot. Next time, take her to Lowe's and take her by the garbage disposal and say, all right, $89.99.
You know, you already
$135. You know, that's how much things cost.
But yeah, so we have a good time. And I think because we're older, I know who I am. He knows the person. And then we've been friends for 30 years now. So we just, I believe this is it. Yeah, I think so. I can't even just think, where would I go? I just like,
I can say that if you guys made it through,
yeah,
and with the distance you guys had, and going through the relationships, going through the marriages, going through the ups and downs, and then you're together, that makes your union stronger. And ours was different. We were kids. We were teenagers when we met. Mm-hmm. And, we were in our early 20s when we married. So our distance was, she was off to college and, we were living our lives. And I ended up in a relationship for about 2.5 years. That was my last relationship. And, it was kind of like, just like you, Scott, I was like, man, I'm in this relationship. She don't meet nobody. I just knew that's who I wanted to be with.
I would come home. Yeah. I'd come home from school.
I'd sneak around.
Let him know.
We would do anything. I'd sneak around just to be with her.
You want to go hang out, or you want to come up to the house? And he'd come over. And I thought, I was under the impression that she knew because we were just friends. But we found out the hard way. I found out the hard way that she did not, in fact, know this or support our friendship.
No, yeah, definitely. No.
And she probably, when we got married, she probably was like, I told y'all they weren't just friends.
Yeah, we've gotten a couple of those too.
And we were platonic friends until we weren't. So
we weren't, yeah. Same thing. We got that too. People said, you guys weren't really friends. But like, we really were friends. And we didn't do, what I respected also with Scott is that when after we knew that we really, really had a bond in that there was love between us, but then I couldn't break away from my situation and he went on with somebody else. He was so respectful in the relationship that he was in, that even though we had a history or a connection, he was always very respectful and faithful to the relationship that he was in.
Mm-hmm.
really honored that. I thought, oh my gosh, like he was just an outstanding person. Never like he never flirted with me anymore or he was just honoring the relationship that he was in. And that was good. Now I would get off the phone every time and cry my eyes out, but I don't think you knew that at the time, did you? No, because you were I just loved him. And he had moved on and he was then moved on, and I was happy for him, but I knew I was missing the person that I wanted to be with, and he done moved on. But and then he would tell me all about their relationship because we were back friends again. So he would just tell me, and then he like thinking they were going to get married. Like, oh heck no.
He would tell me little things, but it was our friends that would call me and go, you've got to do something. Do something like what? We're friends, just like you and him are friends.
Yeah.
You can't steal him from her. I can't steal him from her. What are you talking about? But that was not a good relationship. She was very abusive to him. And I don't even think he realized it until as we got older, and like we'll talk about things now. Yeah. And I'm like, you do realize that that's abuse. She may not have been physically touching you, but that's abuse. And that's why I could tell him. There you go. That's why I told him you would be outstanding with whomever you're with, because that's you. That's your nature. So.
I feel like he was. I feel like he was abused. I feel like that. God, I feel like we were abused. And then when I realized, because at first I didn't think I was the one for him, but then when I knew that I was, when I was like, oh yeah, I'm for you. And then I was like, yeah, because you would, as good as you are as a person, like some of them treated you not good, in my opinion.
It happens. My thing is, I'm patient with most people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if somebody is, others may perceive abusing me, I don't feel abused because I can't be abused.
Okay.
Right. I'm like, if a little kid punches a wall, who's in trouble? Wall or the kid?
Right.
Well,
right.
You can punch me all day long. You can hurt yourself.
Yeah, I just felt like.
But it's not healthy for long.
Yeah. I think I know we're about to wrap this up, but I have one more story. Because this is when I have one more story. Yeah. And this is a story about your abuse, about you being abused. So, relationship, person will remain nameless. And so Scott had to, and correct me if I have this wrong, he had to drive very far to pick up his children. So he had to drive like 6 hours. And so the person that he was in a relationship with, when he got back, because it was late, he was hungry. 12 hours, yeah. So he got back. So the woman was around. And when he got back, not only did she not have anything for him to eat, she ate his food that he had there. And I think she ate his food and then maybe left or something. So she didn't feed him. He was tired. He came home thinking he had something to eat and she ate his food. I was like, what?
Right.
Oh yeah, that was abuse.
That's not being thoughtful.
Yeah.
Not
like that's not considerate or thoughtful. And I'll be the first to admit that I get caught in my bubble. And sometimes I do things from my perspective and I think outside of my bubble. But when it comes to my person, I'm always going to think and be considerate about him and his well-being. So
and I just thought, okay, who would do that? Like, what kind of girlfriend or person would just not even think you would be tired and didn't eat your food? Like, what? And even like a friend, I would sure she had something to eat. So it wasn't even, it's just out of a friendship, but I just thought that was crazy. I was like, that is crazy. And I think that's it.
So what has been, as we wrap up, first of all, thank you so much. But we want to ask, what has been like the most surprising thing with this 29-year journey, where you are now? What has been like the most surprising thing?
Most surprising. I'm hard to surprise. Let's see.
Well, I'm surprised that it's that we got married. I mean, like that the whole thing happened the way it did. That is surprising, but just about, you're not. No, I'm like, because I still would. Oh my gosh, I'm married to you. But I think the most surprising thing, I don't know, if surprising, but for me, it's just, no, it's surprising, but just how well I'm loved by Scott. Like that just blew my mind. So just surprising. Surprising is just like,
That is one.
It doesn't. I would say that has happened at all because
Mm-hmm.
we're in long situations.
Right.
And the universe just moved in a way where we ended up where we wanted to be.
Right.
And even Erica Badu had that song, Next Lifetime.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Like, you don't need to die and come back to life, to get what you could have had.
Yes.
When I was married before, I was thinking, there's till death do we part,
Right.
Mine on hers.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, this is, a wolf of Robin,
Mm-hmm.
and you go full steam ahead. And life just, it's like Plinko, things just fell into place.
Yeah.
Things that were unmovable moved.
yeah,
Things that couldn't happen.
yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah. So
Beautiful.
Beautiful, man. Oh my gosh. And that's, and it's, you think about the times that you weren't together and the times that you weren't able to be together. And now that you have it, now it's precious now. Now you understand it,
Yes.
it has a different meaning now. So that's how we know that you guys are gonna, this is how we know that this is it. You guys got each other.
Beautiful.
That's wonderful.
yeah, and you see people, and then I really, and you have to go, but I always think like when you meet somebody, anybody that's attracted to each other or has whatever they have, it's like you're always excited about that person, and then over time, I always say like about 18 months, it'll go away. So there's always this excitement, and I'm just, I guess, surprised or in awe that it just doesn't go away. Like it just doesn't, like 20, 30 years now, and every day, and I wake up next to him every day, and I'm just like, I really, really love him more. That's like cliche. Yes, but I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I this. I stare at you sleeping, but you look at me while I'm sleeping too.
I get it, but out of context, that might be a little creepy, but I get it.
It's not,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even up to maybe a couple of years ago. We would joke each other and be like, you know what? Dang, I married you.
still say,
Yep.
Yeah, real.
Yep.
It makes me to realize like God is so good, and so many blessings and amazing things can happen. And it can happen, I don't know, I feel if you have just pure heart,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean it's not going to be a rocky road,
Right.
but this God is good. Your blessings are your blessings no matter, like they're just yours. They're just yours. And this is like one of the biggest blessings that I've ever known. For sure.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. And you know what? If you guys, I can say this. The fact that you were friends.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. The friendship is and because I was able to, because we were friends and I want to date. When you try to date somebody, you're not as always honest.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And you're pretending in some way. You don't mean to, but you just somehow you're acting in a way you think they would like. But I never was that way. And I think, wow, I'm like, wow, you like me for real. You know some stuff about me you wouldn't know if we were just dating.
Right.
You wouldn't even know.
Right.
So the fact that it's like he loves me authentically and I believe him because he really truly knows the good, the bad, the ugly, and all the things, and that he loves me, and he looks at me like that. Like when he looks at me, I'm thinking, I really believe you love me. Like I believe it, and it's the best thing ever. And I really truly hope for every person that deserves love, which I think everybody does. I guess
Almost everybody.
yeah, I was like, wait, right, but
All the people.
I want this for everyone that. And I always ask Scott, like, why us, or why did we get this love where there's other people that seem like really nice people, don't
Right.
have the love or this type of bond or connection, like they just haven't met their person. And you said that it's like when you've worked on yourself, you're honest, then you attract that to you.
Yes. How healthy people attract,
Right.
Healthy people.
Yeah. And to be in a relationship, you have to, instead of looking for somebody, look to make sure that you're straight and good and healthy.
Yeah.
And when you hit that point, you find people just come to you.
Yeah. And
Yep.
but yeah. So thank you so much for
you so much.
this is our first time being interviewed together. And I love telling it. I love telling it.
And
Story.
it is a beautiful story.
Yes.
Yeah. I love
Which you said, piggyback on what you just said about wanting people to feel this feeling.
Yep.
That's the reason why we created this Beyond I Do podcast, because we wanted, to
encourage
understand that, there are everyday people out there that just deserve and need love, and may not know how to do it.
Yeah.
Share that you can do it. You can, it may take that friend that you've been talking to for
Okay.
20 years. Right.
But you can.
Here's a dead thought.
So I know before we go, I didn't say this part. So I'm an entrepreneur, and we own a company, Necessary Nutrition, and we offer vitamin D, which all of us on here are Black, and Black folks are usually deficient in vitamin D. So I'm up for your listeners. I always got to put a plug no matter what in that regard. That's what we offer. So is it okay for me to say my website?
It is absolutely okay.
That's how we end up closing out the information.
Yeah.
But also,
we actually wanted to talk to you about coming back to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love, because that's my other love is really health, wellness, and nutrition. I love to talk about how we can fuel our bodies, but then now it's like I like to just bring in that mind aspect into it too, because they work together when it comes to like illness and disease and all those things. It's not just what you eat physically, it's so much to do with it, but also what you think, feel, and believe has so much to do with your outer world. Your inner world your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So I would love to come back and talk more about the nutrition side and just how to thrive physically and mentally with food and nutrition and mental fitness.
And we will set that up. But in the meantime, you can go ahead and give your information for that so that others can find you. But we definitely are going to set something up so that you can.
For sure. So my website is necessaryvitamind.com. So NECESSARY vitamin-d.com. And then on Instagram, it's at NessyNutri, NESSYNUTRI. So the company is Necessary Nutrition. Yeah.
All right.
So thank you for joining us. We appreciate you both sharing your story. I love the smiles on your faces when y'all are talking about each other in the story. We appreciate your time and your story.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Supporting better.
Yes. It's lovely. It's the happiest. Like if I would have married you sooner.
Yeah, it's time to realize that it better late than never.
Yay.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Beyond I Do podcast.
Please make sure to like this episode and also subscribe to our podcast. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the Beyond I Do podcast.
And until next time, we will holler at y'all.